Hello, hello, hello. How's all my folks doing today? I just wanted to jump on here and do a short live, kind of remind everybody they need to be aware of their surroundings and the environment that they're in. Get a few people in here and I'll get my story going. This world's getting to be a pretty crazy place, getting crazier every day. And it's more important now than ever to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you. Hello, Wyoming. So I guess I'll kind of get into it. Here 2 days ago, my brother lives up by Kansas City, but anyway, he got on the Facebook Marketplace, and I'm gonna turn the camera around. He got on the Facebook Marketplace and was looking to buy a leaf blower. Nothing, no big deal. Everybody uses Facebook Marketplace, and a lot of stuff gets bought and sold on Facebook Marketplace. He didn't think nothing of it. He buys and sells a lot of stuff on there. So anyway, he found a leaf blower up in Kansas City. Wasn't too far from his house, and he thought, well, I'll go get it. So he called the guy, and the guy gave him the address. This is where I live. Come up here to the house, and you can pick up that leaf blower. I'll sell it to you. So, feeling that something wasn't quite right, so he had called a couple other people and told them, he said, hey, I'm going up here to Kansas City to get this leaf blower, and so just in case something happens, somebody will know where I'm at. So he gets to the address up there in Kansas City, and the guy come out the front door, and he's like, oh yeah, I got that leaf blower in here in the garage, but you have to come through the house to get to the garage. So my brother's like, all right. So he goes walking in the house. Well, when he walks in the house, the guy pulls out a gun. And things turned really shitty really quick. And so he made my brother empty out all his pockets and dump everything out there on the floor. And then he kept trying to get my brother back into the back bedroom. And if that happened, so he, my brother's like, look, man, I got kids, I got grandkids, I just came up here to get a damn leaf blower. He said, I already gave you everything out of my pockets, there's $1,000 in my billfold, everything's laying right there. So the criminal, I guess, decided that was good enough, and he grabbed up everything off the floor, ran outside, jumped in my brother's truck, and took off. So now my brother was stuck at this house up in Kansas City with no transportation, no ID, no phone, no nothing. So I guess he ended up going to one of the neighbors' house to use the phone to call the cops, and the cops came. And what had happened is that house was actually on the market for sale. So it was a vacant house. So the guy had broke in to the house through a window in the backside of the house, and then just gave my brother that address to come there because he knew it was a vacant house. But it could have got really bad really quick. I mean, it was definitely an eye-opening moment. And it kind of sheds light on the the way this world's getting to be now. I mean, people really need to be aware of their surroundings. Really need to pay attention to what's going on. I mean, it could happen to any one of us at any given time. You really need to, he was smart by letting people know where he was going to be in case something happened. That was probably a really good thing. But it's getting crazy out here, people. We definitely need to be aware of what's going on around us and keep our head on a swivel of everything that is going on around us. So, my brother's alright, but needless to say, he lost his truck. He lost $1,000 he had on him, all of his credit cards, his driver's license. The guy now has keys to his house, has his address, has keys to other vehicles he has sitting at his house. He's pretty, he could be in a pretty vulnerable spot right now with the guy having all the information that he has. Luckily, he didn't get hurt and everything there is alright, but I can't stress it enough, folks. You got to really, really watch the things that are going on nowadays. People are struggling just to be able to afford to buy food to put on their table. People are going to pretty extreme measures to be able to do that. But I just kind of wanted to put that out there, that I know a lot of people buy and sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace. A lot of people, I've done it. Went to buy something and just went to the guy's house and everything was fine and picked it up and got the transaction done and taken care of. But in today's day and time, I wouldn't do it today. There ain't no way. With the things that's going on, there's no way I'd do it today. I would say if you're going to buy and sell stuff on there, I would probably, at the very minimum, would make the people meet you in a public place, at a Quick Trip parking lot, or someplace out in the public where there's going to be a lot of other people around. If the people will not meet you out in public where there's other people around, there may be a reason why. So I would definitely keep that in the back of your mind. There's a lot of people running around that don't have our best interest at heart. They're just looking to take care of themselves. And like I said, with the economy getting like it is and everything getting as bad as it is, you're going to start seeing more and more and more of this stuff going on. Unfortunately, it's going to be that way everywhere in this country, not just the big cities. It's gonna start affecting all of us. So like I said, I just kind of wanted to put it out there and put a bug in everybody's ear to kind of keep a close eye. Absolutely, Wyoming, you need to keep your head on a swivel and pay attention to exactly what all is going on around you. And even in a lot of these big public places, you're still not 100% protected from something going bad. Something can still go bad. It'd just be a little more difficult for it to happen. But my brother asked the cop, he's like, well, being that you're a cop, what would your suggestion be? And the cop said, well, my suggestion is Facebook. They probably should be meeting the people at the police station in order to do it. My brother's like, well, there ain't no way that everybody could meet, there's thousands of people that buy and sell stuff on Facebook every day. There's no way 1,000 people could go to the police station and sit in the parking lot and make their transactions. That's just not feasibly possible. But yeah, it was a very well, Gary Cody 100% right. It was very well thought out. For the guy to, to break into a vacant house and then use to lure him to in hopes of buying that leaf blower. Yeah, that guy put some thought into it. And I guarantee this ain't the first time that he's done it. I guarantee he's done it in the past. But, now the guy, and the guy that robbed him, you're talking numerous felonies, breaking and entering into the house, armed robbery, on and on and on. If they ever caught the guy, he would spend years and years and years in prison over it. But these people out here today, a lot of these people, they don't care. They do not out to to try, and it's really sad. A lot of people are, we don't know the story behind it. Maybe the guy has a wife and 5 or 6 kids at home and he's trying to feed them, and that's the only way that he has figured out to be able to feed his family. We don't know. Maybe he's just a dope addict thug. Nobody knows. Yeah, I don't know, Wyoming. He didn't get the leaf blower. Needless to say, he didn't get no leaf blower that day. All he got was his life turned upside down, and definitely a learning experience. Yeah, that's what I say. We don't know. It could be that the guy was a dope addict thug, or it could be that he was just trying to feed his family. We're going to start seeing more and more of this stuff go on with people who are just trying to feed their family. That's, I guess, the point I'm trying to get across. There's people that they're going to get to this point to try to take care of their family. In the past, it's always been the drug addicts and, just the plain evil people. But there's going to be some good people out there that are going to be pushed into doing evil things. He knows that. The guy could come back to his house at any given time. And he owns a body shop, so all the shop keys were on that, in that vehicle. His shop keys, his house keys, his gun safe keys. Just stop and think about everything that is on your person or in your vehicle, that if you lost it, how vulnerable you would be. But I guess, like I said, my main thing is, there's going to be a lot of good people out there that are going to resort to evil tactics just to try to feed their family. And it's coming. It's coming. It's bad now, but it's going to get worse. Especially right here around the holidays and everything going on. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And all we can do is try to keep our head on a swivel and be aware of our surroundings, and hope for the best, and hope that we don't become the next victim of somebody. It's I really hate. It's really bad when you see stuff like that happen to just honest, everyday working people. It's and this was the middle of the day. This was at like noon, 1 o'clock, middle of the day. He would have never went into Kansas City at 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night, obviously. But I mean, this is middle of the day. I mean, broad daylight, noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, middle of the day in a residential neighborhood, right in the middle of the city. You're right, Wyoming. At this point, it's getting to that point. It's getting to the point where you're going to just have to assume that there's a lot of people out there that are willing to do you harm just so they can feed their family. I mean, it's the world's kind of getting to be a scary place, and people are going to have to stop watching their phone all. I mean, you go up to their store, you see it all the time. People walk in and out of the store, got their nose in their phone. They have no clue what's going on around them. They have no idea of nothing, you know. And I mean, you see it all the time, and it's like you're going to have to really, really start paying attention. I myself, I don't like going to town. I could care less about ever going to town. I could stay out here on my place and never go to town, and that would be perfect. Yeah, you're right, Jericho. Most people are completely oblivious. I mean, they have no idea. I mean, I've been driving down the road and and had a deer running across the road in front of me. And I was watching it. I seen it. I knew it was coming. And the baby deer run across the road in front of me. And the mama deer was still standing on the other side of the road. So I stopped. I just stopped in the middle of the road. You know, it was on a 2-lane road. I just stopped right in the middle of the road. And somebody came by and they stopped while I was sitting there and like, well, are you having car problems or what's going on? And I'm like, no, pay attention. If you look, there's a baby deer standing on this side of the road, and there's a mama deer standing on the other side of the road. What's going to happen is one of these deer is going to cross the road to get to the other one. So I'm just sitting here waiting for one of. And the people looked around, and then they were like, oh, there is a deer standing right there on the edge of the road. I didn't even see that. That is how oblivious people are to their surroundings. They have no idea. They do not pay attention to nothing. And unfortunately, a lot of those people are going to be victimized because of it. Because they do not pay attention to their surroundings. You know, I mean, like I said, if my brother hadn't, you know, what if he hadn't have called somebody to let them know he was going to Kansas City? Nobody would have had no idea. You know, if that guy could have got him in the back bedroom and shot him and killed him right there at that house, and he hadn't have never called nobody to let him know that he was going to Kansas City to this address to get this leaf blower, he may have laid up there in the back bedroom of that house for a week before anybody ever found him. You know, I mean, it's just the little things. You know, it's little things. You know, let people know if you're going somewhere, call somebody and say, hey, I'm going over here to do such and such. Or, you know, that way if something does go south, at least somebody knows where you were going. So hopefully they can pinpoint the last location that you was at. You know, I mean, it's just little things that, you know, we have to try to keep in contact with people that we know and trust and let them know where we're going, what we're doing, things that are going on. But I would suggest, yeah, you're right, Wyoming. You're right. And, you know, me and my brother talked about that. You know, if he would have had his pistol with him, and he's like, well, yeah, but, you know, he says, then the guy may have ended up taking my gun, and you know, there's a lot of people that carry all the time, I'll just put this out there. There's probably, I would say, 50 to 60% of people that carry nowadays. Of that 50 or 60% that carry, I would say there's probably only 20 to 25% of them that are actually prepared to pull the trigger. Bad thing. There's a lot of people that carry, but it's a whole different deal when you pull the trigger. That's a whole different thing to have to live with. And a lot of people are not prepared to live with that decision. And so therefore they hesitate. And when you hesitate, that's when you're in trouble. It would have, and so I don't know. Nobody can say one way or the other. Nobody. We can only speculate what would have happened if he had been carrying with him while he was there. Whether or not he's prepared to take that step, I don't know. But like I said, yeah, and the other thing is there's a lot of thugs out there that'll pull a gun on you. They're not prepared to use it either. That's the other thing. There's a lot of people that have, a lot of thugs out there that have a gun, and they'll pull a gun on you and to scare you, but they are not prepared to use it either. I know that for a fact, because I don't back down from it. I never have. I've had gun pulled on me several times, and I just step one step closer to them. Say, go ahead. You think you're man enough, you go ahead. And thankfully, I'm still here to tell about it because, like I said, they were prepared to use the gun to scare me, but they was not prepared to use the gun to harm me. So, there's always that. So if somebody does pull a gun on you, yeah, it's kind of a scary deal, and I would probably strongly suggest to just go ahead and let them take your stuff. Stuff's replaceable. Stuff's replaceable. Your life ain't replaceable. But it just all depends on the situation. I myself, I don't back down from none of them. I don't care. I know the good Lord knows. The good Lord has a plan for me, and He knows when He's going to take me home, and if it's going to be today, it's going to be today. So I'm okay with that. I've came to grips with that a long time ago. But like I said, I just wanted to put out a short live and kind of share what happened with, somebody who with my brother. Kind of put it out there, and like I said, we're getting close into the holiday season. You're all going to start seeing a lot of crazy stuff going on, and people. I'm just really urge people to be aware of your surroundings. Know what's around you. Know what's going on around you. If you happen to be walking in a store and you see people over here in the parking lot that's over here yelling and screaming and arguing with each other, pay close attention. Better watch. See what's going to happen. You never know. Those two people standing over there yelling, screaming, and arguing at each other, they might pull out guns and start shooting at each other, and you might get hit because you're standing nearby. Yeah, Wyoming, I know. Like I said, it's you need to always be evaluating the situation that you're in, and try to avoid situations that you're not required to be in. Yep, you're right, Wyoming. I don't go out shopping, so I don't have to worry about none of that. But you're absolutely right. Like I say, with the holiday season coming and Christmas coming and the economy being as bad as it is, and people out here starving and trying to make ends meet, and they still think that they have to provide, have to go get all these presents for their kids, and on and on and on. It it ain't all that. And I can tell you right now, your kids would rather have the kids would rather have their parents there. Hey Jen, the parents would rather have the kids would rather have their parents there than see their parents get into a bunch of trouble trying to rob somebody so they could go buy Christmas presents for their kids. I mean, it's I don't know, Wyoming. You might get a chunk of coal or something for Christmas. He might come bring you a chunk of coal. Of course, in Wyoming, you could use a chunk of coal in the wintertime. That might be valuable. But yeah, like I said, I just kind of want to throw it out there for people to pay attention, and really, really second guess things, and go with your gut feeling. If you're going to a store somewhere and you pull in the parking lot and you park and you just get a bad gut feeling that something just ain't quite right somewhere, leave. Don't even get out of the car. Just leave. You can go back to the store some other time, but you'll definitely need to pay attention to your gut feeling. I mean, it's I mean, it's getting crazy nowadays, and I mean, and like I said, it's going on in the big cities everywhere right now. I mean, everywhere, every big city, it's going on. But you're starting to see it spread out to the smaller towns and the smaller places also. So don't think just because you live in a little bitty town of 4 or 5 thousand people that, well, that ain't going to happen in my town. It will happen. It can happen. It's a lot of these thugs are moving out of the cities and moving out into the more rural areas. Yeah, I know, Wyoming. I know it's what happened to you. And like I said, it's broad daylight, and that was in a public place. So even though you're in a public place, don't necessarily mean that you're protected. You're probably a little more protected than if you was in a neighborhood or a residential area, like my brother was. But I mean, how many people buy stuff off Facebook Marketplace and they just go to the people's house and pick it up? I mean, it happens every day, all over the United States, every day. It happens every day. Nobody thinks twice about it. Well, it literally, I would say that it literally came very close to costing my brother his life, just to go to that house to try to buy a leaf blower off of Facebook Marketplace. Pretty big eye opener. We really need to change the way that we do things, and pay a lot closer attention to our surroundings and what's going on around us. Now, if I was going into a big fancy neighborhood somewhere, to get something or whatever, to buy something from somebody off Facebook, I still don't think I would. I wouldn't do it. You know, I damn sure wouldn't walk in nobody's house. You know, if I got there to buy something and the people's like, "Oh, I got it inside. Come on in and get it." But you know, somebody if I showed up at somebody's house and they're like, "Oh, I got the stuff in here in the house. Just come on in here and get," ain't happening. Ain't happening. I'm not going in anybody's house. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. They can bring it outside and we'll make the transaction out in the front yard, out in the middle of the neighborhood, and hopefully it's a neighborhood where there's a lot of people at. But I would say your best bet is just not even put yourself in that situation. That right there is exactly, and I know there's a lot of stuff that goes on Facebook and Facebook Marketplace and all that and everything else. Well, I can tell y'all right now, I haven't had an account on Facebook in 2 years, and I don't miss it one single bit. Not at all. I do not miss it at all. I could care less about all the stuff that goes on Facebook. I could care less. Especially now that, it's came out that the powers to be have had so much influence over the big social medias. I really don't want nothing to do with them now. Nothing at all. I could care less. But that was just kind of my message I wanted to get out today. One of you, and I hope that each and every one of you, after hearing what happened with my brother, I hope each and every one of you now kind of stop and thinks twice about things, that situations that you put yourself in. It's hard to blame other people when we put ourselves in that situation. Yeah, the guy shouldn't have robbed my brother, shouldn't have taken everything from him. But also in reality, my brother shouldn't have put himself in that spot to be vulnerable enough to have that happen to him. That's the number one place to start, is do not put yourself in a vulnerable spot. That people cannot take advantage of you if you do not allow yourself to be put in that spot. It's a lot harder for the people to take advantage of you, I guess I should say. But that's kind of what I had to put out there today. Hey, Pat. Yeah, I had quite a talk with my brother yesterday after it all happened, so hopefully he knows. I'd say it won't happen again. It won't happen again. It was definitely an eye-opening experience. When you're staring down the barrel of a gun and somebody's taking everything you own that you have on you, it's an experience you don't forget anytime soon. But so anyway, that's just kind of what I want to throw out there today. I just wanted to make a short live, but I hope the best for each and every one of you, and love you all, and stay safe out there. And appreciate you all for coming. Thank you.